Alrighty, hello every folks, and good morning! It's that time again, finally. So, yeah, I kind of thought there was another update coming for One Vision, and apparently it's gonna take a little bit longer. So, while that's still cooking on its way, let's go do a second part of this whole thing. Alright, so last time folks were essentially voting for what exactly a lane should be, because we had a few different options. We had the Spellblade, which kind of sort of matched a bunch of things. We also had things like Lord, which could also kind of sort of match a bunch of things. But ultimately, everyone voted for White Knight. So that was the winner by about like 60%, so that's what we're going to go for here. And I think part of that is because the White Knight Time of Need ability is basically an interesting combination of his personal healing move as well as the sort of cavalry charge type thing, so that's kind of neato. So that's what we're going to go with here. Alright, anyways, let's go to Chrysaro, and let's go ahead and probably take out Hodrick, and yeah, probably, you know what, actually probably take out Chloe too, so we can get some additional training in, because we do want to get at least some people trained up to some degree. Now we'll go ahead and get Ecclese over here. Do you guys actually have equipment yet, or did I... Yeah, okay, you do. You don't. Why don't you have equipment? There we go. Equipment on you. You are now Defender, you are now Warrior. Fantastic. Sounds good to me, and let's go do this thing. Alright, so here's the deal. We're not going to be 100% perfect on everything as far as what's a reference to what's technically available in Unicorn versus what isn't, but we are going to go ahead and get everybody killed off from this, from the NPC squad that isn't technically part of the official squad. So technically, Kashua has gone and replaced Scarlet, so she gets to live. When it comes to Vice and Donalto, well, unfortunately for them, they have chosen not to. So Vice will essentially just kind of be thrown into the wood chipper going ahead, and so will Donalto, and if they make it, they make it. If they don't, they don't. That's kind of what we're going with here. Alright. Also, I gotta remember after this to actually go to the store to see what kind of spells and such they got available. Because right now it probably would have been pretty useful to have more than one person that's actually capable of exercising things. But we'll get to that when we get to it. For the time being, though, Kashua slash Scarlet is going to be excellent for taking out skeletons and zombies and such. Okay, you being able to approach from the back there, so that'll help out quite a bit. As time goes on, though, Elaine will probably become our most convenient exorcist, considering that they've more or less got one of the best exorcism moves in the game, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Like, their whole deal is that they just, like, vaporize an undead, but get super hyped up about it, so they end up getting a haste buff. So that's nice. Anyway, the one thing that this team is definitely going to be lacking overall, just due to the people that were kind of chosen for it, is going to be offense. Not, like, regular offense, but specifically ranged offense, which they have next to none of. So we'll deal with that as we get to it. So, like, we've got Rolf over there, but the only other range that we're really going to have access to is going to be courtesy of Chloe with her throwing javelins, which is not terrible. Like, it'll work, it's just not really going to be, like, if we really, really want to focus somebody down, we're probably going to have to, actually surround them and stuff. So we don't really have as much, like, force projection as you'd kind of hope for an Ironman run, but, that's fine. Alright. So, we just kind of keep surrounding, keep knocking stuff out, and try to get some weapon skills trained up on people. I hope I put everybody's weapon skills on them. I don't honestly know, but we'll find out when we find out. Now, let's see. Yeah, as far as any other, like, class training or whatever else that's needed, I think we're doing pretty great right now. Like, this team should be pretty cozy. I don't foresee them having any, like, gigantic flaws or whatever else. Like, I can tell you immediately, whenever we get around to the Final Fantasy VIII team, like, one gigantic flaw is that the main character's weapon doesn't even come online until level 15. So that's gonna be a bit of a while that they're just running around unarmed. Or we've got, I'm actually kind of think about how would the FF10 team fare there? Because, like, for FF10, it basically would be like... You already start off with swords right from the get-go. Like, when it comes to Tidus, he basically would have to be a rogue with a sword, because everything about that matches. Let's see. Do we need any healing here, by the way? No, not really. Just beat that dude with a stick. I mean, we ultimately would kind of have like two rogues on the team, I suppose. We could probably make Oron into a Buccaneer, because I think they still get the coat. I don't remember. Maybe they don't, but I mean, I would custom put that in. He has to get the Azelston coat. That's not negotiable. Like, as far as summoning stuff in, the Oracle class with just exclusively summons would end up doing that job reasonably well. They already take a gigantic amount of space to actually summon something, so it kind of thematically still ends up fitting. That I mean, like, don't know how many folks were here for that particular phase in the mod's development, but there actually was a portion. There was actually a time when there was a dedicated summoner class that was literally just summons. It was like all summons and ninja magic. So to this day, the Oracle still has access to ninja magic. So that's fun. Anyway. It seems like the Necromancer over here has decided to actually shove herself forward. Usually you don't end up getting a chance to catch her, so this works out reasonably well. And there goes Donalto. It's fine. We don't need him anyway. It's actually preferable if he doesn't survive because of the way that experience works. So, alright, brief little thingy on experience for those unfamiliar, since One Vision does use the old PSP system. Basically, experience is doled out in one gigantic pile just like it is in Reborn. However, it is thrown out to individual classes, which further end up prioritizing who gets experience based entirely off of who's the lowest. So, like, the lowest ends up getting a bit more. And if you're running the Class EXP scaling fix, which we are, the lowest will get exceptionally high priority for that sort of thing. So this means if there's any class that we're not using, we generally just want to let them go ahead and die. So, like, for example, we're not going to be using the Cleric whatsoever, so if Donalto is gone, that ends up helping out the entire team. With Vice, we actually are still using Warriors, so if he survives, honestly, I'm not too fussed about that. One way or another, this isn't really anything to write home about as far as fights go, but anyway, we'll be alright. We'll be alright. Now, one other rule to remember for One Vision is that shields are basically guaranteed. There's very few ways to actually miss with a shield. It might be entirely guaranteed at this point, I don't know. But in any situations like this, where the weather is awful, the footing is awful, and in general their skills basically don't exist, in those situations just ramming something with a shield is unavoidable. So that is going to help out quite a bit in the accuracy department, and something that we're going to want to do all the dang time. Okay. Also, this is just kind of a little bit weird to get used to right now, because I finally went back to the Steam Deck after just playing on the Vita for a while, and man, oh man, it's basically the same feeling as when I was going and getting into Reborn after playing, just like the original PSP version and One Vision for ages, where it was just a case of, like, I suddenly have all this screen real estate that I'm not used to. It's like I'm actually looking up instead of looking down. Why is this so jarring all of a sudden? Which you'd think would not be a problem after years of covering Reborn, but, like, here we are. Also, just asking what's keeping Nibeth. Oh, I don't know. He kind of abandoned you and stuff. That's sucks to be you. Anyway, let's see. You actually should have a pretty decent shot from here. There we go. At least take the shot. There you are. You should have a pretty solid hit from right here. Like, I love how good Breach is at this point. So yeah, original PSP Breach was absolute doo-doo, so seeing what's basically Reborn Breach get added to this, it's excellent. Alright. Now, Sarah, unfortunately, no, you are not named enough to join the party. Voltaire, you are not in the thing either. Felicia, no. Actually, come to think of it, I probably should have replaced Lex with Voltaire. just had him be the stand-in for Lex, because then he would have that, like, red plume going on. Oh, well, whatever. Anyways, shoulda, coulda, didn't. Who just got rank 4? Because you, sir, have... Wait, didn't we get some armor? I'm thinking of a previous run, aren't I? Oh, well. Okay, I guess I am. So, first things first. Let's go ahead and check a few things. Skill-wise. So, Mr. White Knight Man, you need to have Divine Magic, and I need to see what kind of stuff they can actually buy at this point. Because as far as support abilities go, Dispel at the very least, I believe... Yeah, he does get access to Dispel, so that's going to be very, very good. Is there any situation in which a lane gets offensive magic, though? Like Sun Spear? I mean, he does get the magic sword, though, so he can do magical attacks. Is that fair to count that? Like, I feel like it is. It's okay. I'm gonna buy it just in case, but I feel like that's fair to count. And then cleanse. I do want to pick up cleanse as soon as I can. So let's go ahead and pick up cleanse. Yeah, one thing that I will say is, like, if something is reasonably justifiable, I'm just going to go ahead and go for it, because otherwise it'll be too much crap to kind of keep track of. So I'm going to say with, like, the magic sword and stuff like that, he probably can shoot lasers out of that thing. You know, it's fine, whatever. But, like, for example, with, let's say, Aubin, like, the Berserker can learn dual wield. So if we have a situation where it's like, you know what, he can, like, let's say, use an axe in one hand and a fist in the other, because, like, his standing pose looks like he's clenching his fist with one hand and an axe with the other. Who's to say he's not grabbing and axing, you know? So I can see that happening for sure. Like, Berserk is practically, like, directly one of their abilities, so we're going to go ahead and throw that in there. And did I seriously not train? Okay. Apparently, I did not train Berengaria at all, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll give her axes. And yeah, Intimidate seems fitting. So we don't actually have much use for Intimidate yet. We will by Chapter 2, but not quite yet. So Intimidate's whole thing is that it reduces half of TP of units nearby while also getting rid of any kind of activated skills. So, you know, gonna be useful later, not so useful right now. Let's see, Cleese, you need swords and draconics, I think. So in her particular case, actually no, you're gonna get anatomy. Shoot, I forgot angels get anatomy, that's awesome. Alright, swords and anatomy, just to basically give you cheat mode. Vice, you should have your mighty strike, there we go. Throw that sucker on your list. So that looks good there. You haven't been trained yet. Alright, what about Lex? What the hell do we do with you? Counter hit? Yeah, you know what? He feels like a counter hit sort. So I'll put a counter hit on you. Let's see. You can probably learn an additional slot, but nothing else beyond that yet. Mr. Joseph. Is there anything lightning or fire-wise that would necessarily fit? I don't think so. I think we'll say Rampart Aura, because he has a tendency to kind of have that, you know, area-holding aura about him. So we'll throw that out there. Yeah, you get your Divine Magic instead, and then... Did I ever pick up Cleanse? I think I did. Alright, let's take a look at this real quickly. Is there anything... And Rage. So Strengthen and Resist Fire, maybe, and then for Galvanize, it's True Strike and Lightning Strike. See, if it was that one night move with all the spears popping out, like, that'd be a different story. Because on his, like, kind of mass boosting accuracy, but no, I don't think that fits there. Okay. Wait, do you not have armor? For real? Wow. Cool, cool. Okay, so, we're not doing Nibeth just yet. We theoretically could. Not really. We're not risking that right now. We're temporarily benching Joseph, so that everyone else can get some better experience, because this fight is easy as hell. Let's see. I do... Yeah, we kind of want to keep Berengaria. Actually, no, wait, hold on. 5, 3... Okay, actually, no. If we take Berengaria out of here, then everybody else should get some pretty meaty experience. So, alright, actually, also, you should be running regular swords. So she has a longsword right now, for some reason. So we can run dual swords on Blade Maidens. So for now, that's just going to be kind of like a placeholder, I guess. Or I guess you could actually probably go borrow Planar's weapon. Or I guess you can't really do that. Okay, hold on. Why don't you instead borrow Joseph's weapon, then? We'll give him a spear for the moment. And then you go ahead and borrow that, and then put a shank in your offhand. Now, while she can't really dual wield yet, this should at least give her something. And I'm going to say, as far as swords are concerned, given the wide variety of different types of swords available, I'm gonna say that this kind of works. So like 1 HKs or regular swords and stuff like that. I probably will run her katana sword, maybe. Um, Actually, you know what? Maybe just take that off entirely. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you'll be fine. Okay, there we go. So, reason for that is because the finishers on 1HKs are absolutely frickin' fantastic. The finishers on swords are consistently good, but nowhere near as good as they are for those 1HKs and stuff. Like, at least for the purposes of a glass cannon. Like, for a frontline fighter, swords are absolutely excellent in terms of, like, poison. You got a multi-hit. You got area sweeps and stuff like that. You got a stop move. So, really good. And then, meanwhile, you've got 1HKs over there, and they're like, yeah, you know what? What about 3-tile sleep laser? Like, it's, as far as glass cannons go, they've got a really good, like, kind of area sweep sleep move there, so... Like, I would say Nightblade is probably the balmy breeze of One Vision in many ways. It's, like, easily one of my favorite finishers in terms of overall utility. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. Let's get you charging this way. It's not really going to be too much happening as of right now. Alright, I never actually gave Oclise any of her spells, did I? So, you know, excellent brain action there, but we will use Leonard for some free training, seeing as there's probably not very much that we can do to counter his utter dominance with his better armor right now. So he's very, very safe. Like, no matter what we do, he will probably be just fine. But what we can do is focus on our training a little bit, get everybody improved to some degree. And to that end, first things first, we take care of the Valkyrie over there, we take care of this warrior over here. This is the two-hander warrior who oftentimes ends up joining several runs where we have her recruit already. She also goes down in 2 hits, which is neat. Anyway, next actions to go that way. I feel like, I don't know. With Hodrick, he was one of those characters that I always felt consistently a little bit let down by in Unicorn, and it almost feels like he's about to live up to the same thing here. And when it comes to Oclise, she's super overpowered in, like, at least the start of Unicorn there. And I feel like she's going to end up getting to be a pretty decent powerhouse this time around, too, simply because she has anatomy, so that's pretty good. So, alright, a little bit of, I guess, not backwards, a little bit of background homework, I suppose you could say, on anatomy, for those unfamiliar, because you might have heard about the skill, if you've, heard folks talk about the PSP version, might have seen that it isn't there in Reborn, and it's rarely there when it comes to One Vision. And the reason is because it's just kind of funky, all things considered. Also, you get a throwing stone, so go ahead and try to stun the wizard. It did not work. Oh well. Alright, wherever you go there. But essentially what the ability does is that it causes you to have what's effectively a second weapon skill, but it only functions versus people. So the defensive component was taken away from a lot of that stuff, so we don't have to worry about that at least. But it basically is just like an extra offense bonus, like doubling up your offense bonus versus just people. So with the defensive component of it taken away, it's definitely a lot less overpowered. Basically, there was a problem in the PSP version in that all it really did was just like, it improves your armor and your weapon damage, as well as accuracy versus humans. And unfortunately, all it did was actually check like, hey, so is there a human involved in the equation? Yes, you are a human swinging a weapon. Well, beautiful. In that case, we absolutely can just go ahead and get you all good to go here. Just free armor. Why not? Free armor versus dragons because you yourself are a human. Makes total sense. Why not? All right. Now we've got Rolf down. I do need him getting trained up, so I might have somebody go back to deal with that. I think that might have to be... do we want Lex to go do it? I don't know. We'll decide in a moment. But for the moment, let's see. Heal or Sun Spear. I think like the Sun Spear for pressure for right now. You go ahead and get into position here. Right, and yeah, I think it's probably gonna have to be Lex that goes back, like just in case. If we have to use somebody else, we use somebody else. But as it is, we've kind of got fights going on in all directions. And we do need Rolf to get some training so that we have our one and only range support fully functional. If one of the team members dies and we get go down to a different party, that'll be a different story. But as it stands right now, that's just gonna have to be how it is. All right, there we go. Go for the stab. Fail to do the stab, as you do. Yeah, Lane's gonna be pretty good, I feel. Like, he's already proven his worth pretty darn well. He seems pretty accurate, seems pretty evasive. A speed sword definitely works out well in his case, and he definitely, while he went for a more balanced type of setup, it does feel like he did a decent job. Now we're going to go ahead and use Berserk on this rock in order to hit him from behind, to give us a little bit more play here. Not going to be enough to do much there, but we can potentially pressure the Cleric, because the Cleric is inevitably going to come back and save his ass, so we're just going to go that way. I need to get my Archer back. I have 4 gems, so there we go. So, for those unfamiliar with how revival and stuff works in One Vision, basically the way that it works is that you can't really traditionally revive someone, because that would be unfair to the AI. So instead the way that it works is that you essentially bench somebody out of the fight, in order to then get them back on their feet. So this does actually give a lot of interesting play to stuff that you wouldn't normally think about, like, for example, using recruits to go convince enemy units to sacrifice themselves for you. So that stuff is pretty darn fun to mess around with. It does give a lot of play to stuff that you wouldn't otherwise think about, and also it occasionally serves as a sort of additional layer of support, because let's say you have somebody that's like completely dunked with debuffs. Like, that's part of the reason that we haven't gone and taken on the Nybeth fight first. Because he's one of the first cases that you'll run into that you just kind of take a look at your unit and the debuff bar is just scrolling by like it's a dang news ticker. So, to that end, it's worth mentioning that, yeah, when it comes to debuffs and such, sometimes somebody will just be so utterly destroyed that just sacrificing them to go get a healthy unit back is going to feel like a very, very big benefit in your direction. So it's not just negative or being fair to the AI. It's something that really does play out both different ways, and it's nice. It's nice. Okay. Anyways, Chloe is currently down. You are currently over there. Can we do more good here? Because I feel like if we go after Brezen anymore, it's going to be a bit of a problem. So you go there. I'm hoping he decides to go after him here. Because if he does, then he counters and potentially still hits the other dude there. Alright. Archer's back in play, so you can start pressuring that away. You can at least do something versus this one, and hopefully convince them... Actually, no. Keep them trapped where they are. I was going to say convince them to go the other direction, but that's just not going to play out well. Right, they go for the long-range heal that way. Could not ask for a more perfect setup, so perfect. We got a Khalees coming in, we got you coming in. I might sacrifice Vice here to go get Chloe back. Thankfully, though, Elaine is doing a really solid job of keeping up damage there. I probably should have attacked him from the other side to make it so that the Cleric was getting a little pressure, but it's fine. Anyway, this should be fine. It's not going to do too much to Brezen, but it is going to be enough to almost kill a Cleric. And at this point, we take the Mighty Strike to get the stun going on him. This dude's got next to no damage, so it's not really, like, the end-all be-all here, but it's something. Anyway, Sword Cut on you. Archer comes in for the finish. There we go. Perfect. Alright, she is almost down, unfortunately. Let's see. I think this basically guarantees that she's gone. Yeah. He was doing about 60, so it would have been just barely shy before. Alright, yeah, Vice is going to be sacking himself in just a sec. You go after him here. O'Cleese can probably circle around this side, take one of those accurate swings. You're going to go here. One lifeline in this direction. And she's back on her feet. Honestly, I'm okay with that outcome, seeing as Elaine has health to spare at the moment, and that's a little bit of extra damage on Mr. Dudeman. Trajectory just for safety, because I want him to try and approach from the side here. Take a little bit of an extra plink. Now, I will mention that while bosses are generally a lot tougher in One Vision, there usually won't be as big of a discrepancy as it is here. Like, this guy is basically baby's first Zybos. Like, in his particular instance, he's going to be one of the, like, toughest things in the early game. Just in general, because he's, you know, high strength, high vitality dude, which matters quite a bit at this section. So he's going to take a lot of extra numbers. Additionally, we also don't have that many heavy weapons on the team at this point. Slash any. I mean, it's like all light spears and swords. So we don't exactly have any can openers, which is really what you want in this situation. So we'll just kind of keep beating on this dude until, you know, until he's done. Alright. Go to the other side, finish him off, and that should be just under the buzzer. There we go. So, no casualties yet, and we live on. We'll move on to the next one, get some innervate, sure. We'll take it, and we'll move on. Did we get any armor in that particular loadout? No, we still have just the one hauberk. Yeah, we circle back to get armor. So, by this point, we have level 4, which means that we have proper armor and such. So we sell some equipment. Do we have anyone that uses spell books? No. So, just go ahead and buy some proper armor. Actually get somewhere with this. Alright. 3 suits of heavy armor, get some helmets going, get some heavy shields going. Could finally have some proper protection on this team. Alright. First one here. Lex, you need to have your... Actually, no, you're gonna need the other shield. You, sir, get your deflection loadout going. This doesn't have deflect yet, but it will down the road. So you get your male hauberk, you get your male chausses. Over here, this dude will go ahead and get his helmet and his vest, and his armor vest, rather. Because he is supposed to be really good against magical stuff, and he is supposed to have a lack of that. Let's see, for you... We don't have any real new upgrades yet, although he will be allowed to use hammers, as we discussed last time. So we'll deal with that as time permits. I would like to go to the shop and get more armor, though. We'll get more soon, but either way. So let's go ahead and go to the shop, go ahead and get more armor. Get some gauntlets for somebody, maybe? Alright, get some gauntlets, get a bronze helm. Alright. You go ahead and get a helmet. Oh yeah, right. Different level. I keep forgetting that he's not a warrior at this point. Whoops. Okay, well, bronze helm for you. She's going to lose a little bit of accuracy, but that's okay. You get some armor, and then do we have throwing javelins yet? No, but we have tomahawks at 5. So I think it's 7. 7, and the next sword upgrade, I think, is javelins. So, we'll get that at that point. Alright, you get your helmet. Would like you to have armor, but instead you will have this gauntlet. Congratulations. And maybe we'll go for a shield later. Yeah, total glass cannon builds? Sure. What could possibly go wrong? Give her a defender ring to make up for that, though. Let's see. Lanar, I don't want him stealing my rings, so we'll leave that as is. Actually, come to think of it, maybe we steal his equipment. Here. Downgrade you a little bit, so that you can be a little bit faster and run into the fray and get yourself annihilated a little bit better. I'll go ahead and put that armor on not you yet, because one of these days I will remember that he's not the guy. Okay. Aubin, you get his chausses then. You can't use that shield, naturally. Let's see. Anything else, though? I feel like Lex probably gets this upgraded sword, though. So we can get a bit better performance out of him, and then let's just go ahead and move on to Rhyme. Think we'll stick with probably the same team here. Also, you might notice the very fun effect that comes from the low XP scaling fix, in that you can actually outspeed the lower level units by by exactly what you saw there. Just keeping them at a way lower level than everybody else, and so she ended up eating all of that experience, and now she went from 1 to 5, essentially surpassing everyone immediately. Anyway, that's always a fun effect, and we should see that out of Elaine this time, who should slingshot forward. And in this particular case, we do have more important things to worry about than Sistina. We will not be attempting to save her, although if we're honest, she'll be just fine anyway. Alright. Now we'll get Melisandre her 2 swords at some point, but that point is not yet. Alright. Yeah, you can reach that dude, because our bows do have pretty good long range here. And I think after this is probably when we'll go ahead and cut it for the first, or for the second part anyway. And then I'm hoping to maybe get these out a little bit faster. Hopefully stuff will be a little bit more consistent now, since there's a sort of predictable schedule finally, after long last, there's a somewhat predictable schedule coming up. Alright. And let's see. Yeah, nothing too different about this fight. Usually you won't see as many, like, longbow... So for anyone unfamiliar with maybe some earlier quirks of this fight, in the official versions, there was sort of inconsistency as far as what could spawn here as far as the types of bows went. And if you got the double longbow spawn in the PSP version, for example, like, you were just screwed. Sistina was 100% dead, and there was nothing you could do about it. If you got the double shortbow spawn, it was just ultra easy mode, and then if you got somewhere in the middle, well, I guess it was just sort of in the middle, you know? So in this particular instance, we're just going to always see the shortbow spawn showing up here. Not that it's necessarily the only factor, since obviously every weapon is completely redone in this version, but it is certainly something that helps. That same rule applies, that we'll get access to that Beast Tamer class as soon as the Beast Tamer's dead. Not that we need to, because we already had access to all the classes anyway, courtesy of a cheat, but I'm just saying if we needed it, it's there. Alright. Now, Sistina is an absolute powerhouse, so for those that have not played One Vision before, she comes in with a very defensive Valkyrie build, usually preferring to go around and kite things, and essentially uses a dagger, which I believe she does have counter. So yeah, she's got counter as well as HP and fusion. So if she manages to die, you've really somehow fucked something up. Like, she could probably take on this entire fight solo. Like, she is insanely tough. Which, speaking of, it's funny that they never really changed that particular aspect for Reborn. Like, they changed how her fight works. She's way more survivable, but it seemed a little strange to me that it was only in OV that we saw her running around without a spear. She's meant to be rummaging around for stuff, like, she's basically looking for supplies and everything, so... If she's being a spy, if she's being sneaky, what in the fuck is she doing with a spear instead of a knife? Like, you know? Like, what is that? Why does she always have a spear? That is about as non-sneaky as you can possibly think. But, I don't know. It's kind of a random note there. Like, she's basically everything short of just like, well, I'm gonna go do my sneaky business with this blunderbuss. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, she does get caught, so I guess she can't really be that sneaky, but still, you know. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But yeah, this fight, as always, is pretty simple. They have a tendency to spread out pretty quick, which means you just kind of just divide up and take your free weapon experience, honestly. Never really has been much to write home about, but then again, if you're writing home about Tactics Ogre, I'm pretty sure your relatives don't really feel like hearing about it. I've tried explaining this to relatives that were asking what the hell I was playing before, and they immediately just like glazed over. They have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, upwards and onwards, as they say. I'm hoping we can finally have our 2 swords for her after this moment. Let's see. Punchify this one. Maybe get a little bit of stun action going so that she doesn't get a turn. Not that we really need it or anything, but it is what it is. And then finally, I think after this next store upgrade, we can deal with our lack of punchy weapons, which we can only kind of sort of deal with. But I'm thinking, I'm pretty certain that we'll be able to see potentially is potentially see some heavy weapons out of some of our classes, at least with like our berserker and whatnot. But we'll get there when we get there. Because yeah, swords are meant to just completely bounce off of armor, which is exactly what they're doing. So you know, not exactly anti-armor weapons, but you know, heavier spears are great against armor. Light spears, not so much. Again, they're meant to be lightweight and nimble and stuff. Or in the case of Hodrick, a bit more defensive and used in pike formations and whatnot. In this particular instance, the heaviest weight thing on this team is currently Sistina. so that's a good sign. You know, that's exactly what we need. I guess we can stun him with Vice here. Actually, no, we can't, because he doesn't have the right stuff at the moment. Alright, get trajectory going, and go ahead and snipe this one. Alright, sounds good. Ooh, she's running a pike. Pike is good. I might actually, given this party's lack of kind of direct offense, I'm kind of tempted to say, what if Elaine does actually get access to a recruit? Because, like, if he gets access to a recruit, then, you know, that gives us access to a lot more different options. And as long as we fire those recruits afterwards, I mean, he's just kind of living up to how he plays the game, right? You know, it's an option. Maybe we'll put that up for a vote after this. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Like, just put up for a vote whether or not Elaine actually gets to use a recruit or not. Because this lack of offense is going to get annoying. I mean, again, we will have other options later, but, like, for right now, it's not looking good. I mean, not really. Okay, they're defensive enough that it's not really like it's not really like it's a danger or anything. It's just like, dude, I would love a heavy hammer right now, and unfortunately, we do not have one of those. We will get, again, heavy axes over on Mr. Aubin right after this. Actually, I probably had access to it right before this fight started, and did not actually go and grab one. So, yes, that is 100% on me. On the plus side, free weapons training, so, you know, there's that. It's only technically not nothing. Alright, also, this is probably going to be the toughest dragon that we'll see all game, again, due to the fact that a lot of their stuff got rebalanced recently, so currently this guy, he comes off as a little tough in the early game. Definitely gets a little bit weaker later. Alright, we're going to trap Bolus over with the dude over there. We're going to trap him with Axeman, and you are going to get this stupid statue out of our face here. Alright. This would be a great time to have Shadow Break. Unfortunately, we have nobody that can use it. So, there's that too. Alright, miss on you. Basically nothing happening with you. So you just kind of stay right there. Alright. You keep hacking away at this guy's defenses, please. Go for the Berserk so that we can break away some of these obstacles in the way whenever he counters. Which should allow for a bit more freedom of movement, a bit more freedom of surrounding this guy, and then you go ahead and shank this wizard, because what's he doing being alive anyway? You know, it's not allowed around here. Alright, now, future plans. Is there anything to be addressed with this party as of yet? I still think pretty much no, but if there is, there is, you know? Also, I forgot, he's stunned, so he's not going to be able to actually counterattack right now. Alright. Leave you as you are. You go ahead and start breaking down his statues, because he's a jerk. Alright. Hack away there. You hack away here. We are completely and utterly unprepared for this thing right now. Oh well. Alright. Actually, I think we're going to move him here so that he can attack both those two at the same time. Dragon's dead. Alright, dude attacked him with a book, of course. What else would you possibly do in that situation? Alright, and yeah, whatever, just take your 95%, which means that our Gladius guy can go ahead and come back. You basically do no damage versus this guy, but if you preempt, you'll do no damage slightly faster. Alright. Now, can we somehow finish him off before we have to sacrifice somebody to get our archer back up? It seems unlikely, but never say never, you know? Alright. Let's see, that will hit. That'll hit you too. Oh well. do it. She keeps taking ones on him. Like, yeah, he doesn't always spawn the same way, but, like, this dude is just, like, seriously jacked out of his mind in this particular version. Like, he's spawned in with all the heavy armor. Like, just, like, the heaviest that you could possibly be. Alright, stab, stab, stab. Nothing more for you to do. And you just get to wait. Alright. Yeah, let's head... You know, you just go run this way, I think. Actually, if there's anyone to potentially sack here, it might have to be Melisandre. Actually, no, that could actually go both ways. So, okay, with the experience being how it is, if she's on the team, with a 5 on the team, that means all of their experience basically gets fed into the units below them, which means, well, generally just kind of good things in our particular instance, because it just, you know, gives them all the experience. But if we have more, like if we have a couple of extra, like if we have only one high level and everybody else below them, that should drastically scale up everybody below. I'm not 100% certain, but hopefully we won't even have to get to that point. Yeah, of course you'd stumble now. Alright. Cool. Yeah, unfortunately he rolled that stun, which means that that guy does not end up getting his turn, which means that we might have to take a little bit of extra time. Although we might still be fine anyway. Alright. Fine, and innervated. Okay, so come on. Yeah, he was just on bad timing. Completely on bad timing, and now that guy can't do anything. We gotta wait for Lex to act again. Lex, please don't get anybody killed. This is... It's not funny. Don't be that game. Don't be that guy. Don't be like the other game. Don't let everybody down. Okay, there we go. Finally. Finally. This is the worst sales pitch for this ever. I should have started off with a team that had a bit more heavy weapons to it. And for that matter, I should have added heavy weapons to the guys that can actually use them. So let's go to the shop, first of all, and buy something with some actual armor penetration, please. We get a maul, or we get a heavy axe. I feel like we kind of gotta go maul here. Okay, so, as was mentioned before, when it comes to basically anybody that's in that sort of like warrior heavy type of unit class, the actual equipment that they're allowed to use in game is both axes and hammers. They're allowed to use both categories, so both are going to be considered fair game for the purposes of this thing. Here. Let's get rid of some circlets, get rid of some bucklers. And let's go ahead and buy that heavy hammer, please. Get 1 maul, and then we'll also get 1 HK. Which should be pretty good. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. Technically speaking, daggers are also just kind of swords, because they're also just shown to be swords in, Unicorn there. So, let's see, do we want dagger finishers more, or do we want 1 HK finishers more? Because, like, that sleep finisher is excellent, but also, I don't like that luck bonus. Whatever, we'll go for this. Just for now. Alright, and then we'll put that in your offhand. There we go. And now, rather than preempt, we're going to go ahead and replace that with 1 HKs. Next thing that comes around, she'll be able to do more with it. And, while we don't have... Yeah, we do have dual wield. So dual wield is going to be available at 6, so she's 1 fight away from using that. Technically, probably, like, 3. Here, let's go to the shop menu. Yeah, still just tomahawks here, so let's go to Fidoc, do that whole conversation. Alright. Don't trust these guys, because reasons. I feel like they probably wouldn't trust them. Alright, now we should have another store upgrade, and we still only have tomahawks. Dang it. Well, That's not ideal. We do get some other equipment, though, so that's, I mean, that's cool. But either way, not exactly ideal yet. So, alright, do you get any recruit skills here? You do have recruit at 5, so he's pretty close to being able to use recruit. So we'll give him one more here, and we're going to put that up to a vote. Like, does he get access to recruit? Because he is, you know, he is somebody that's constantly recruiting. It feels thematically fitting. And part of the reason I'm asking is, again, because the way that OV is played, typically your answers for reviving people are either going to be necromancy or recruitment, because, you know, you basically have your new volunteer buddies carry your old guys back into life, or you have them get zombified, and we don't have access to either of them right now. I'm going to say it's probably justified, but either way, we'll put that up to a vote. I'm kind of curious. Alright. One more thing, though. Because there should be better spears by now. Yeah, hostas. Which we can't use yet, but we really need those ASAP. In fact, actually... I think for the time being, I'm just going to say that Chloe gets to use a Volge until she gets access to her throwing spears, and then we can just kind of alternate between them, because it really would be nice to actually hurt stuff. So we'll go ahead and put Mighty Strike with a Volge on there. Feels appropriate. Let's see. Lex, you're fine. Aubin, you are going to need that hammer. Beautiful. Look at that actual damage showing up. Get more skills, get more hammers, and we'll just have him run both skills, because why not? Get more skill slots going. Let's see. Hodrick currently isn't doing much of anything. Let's see what we got on him. Accuracy moves don't feel like they would be very fitting. Trajectory, maybe? Lead Ward, I mean, if there was a skill that made him permanently leadened, that probably would be the most accurate here. There is that one accuracy spear that you can pick up relatively early-ish, so I'm going to go ahead and justify Mighty Strike through that. Eccles... I doubt there's much you can do right now. She does get Divine and Draconics. Do we have any Draconics that we can buy at the shop yet, though? Because I don't... we get Acrobatics. So True Strike and Dodge... That's... I think that, if I recall correctly, that is one of the buffs they get. So yeah, we'll go Draconics on her, sure. That works out. Alright, go ahead and learn Acrobatics. Go ahead and learn Divine, or not Divine, but Draconic, and that looks good. So put that there. Okay, that's probably fine then. And then... let's see, Draconology, Teratology. I kind of want to put Draconology on him just because he killed a dragon. Kind of, sort of. But then we also have... let's see. I mean, he very heavily counters dodgy type units, so maybe we'll put Orology on him. We'll make him a preemptive fairy hunter. Sure. And let's see, next we've got Cashway here. I don't know if we'll have a chance to use Last Rites, but might as well have it on there. Like, once we get around to doing Nybeth. Actually, maybe we do Nybeth next. You know? Alright, so we'll do Nybeth next, and then we'll see what folks want to do as far as recruitment goes. Like, is that fair game, or are we just considering that too, you know, overpowered, or what? Anyway, so I gotta get going, so y'all have yourselves a good one. Take care, thank you for stopping by, and see you in that one. Bye.